and by the utilization of a debt money currency, the world. Ed, let me try and impress upon you and the others that are viewing and listening to this the importance of this concept of property. As the feudal era was brought in the 30s and imposed upon the American people, then as property, you are pledged for collateral for the bonds that back the world reserve currency. In 1933, when they took the gold, they substituted the people. And that's exactly what's happened here. Let me see if I can illustrate this point to you with an example that virtually everyone watching this has some familiarity with. And that's a legal document called a Notice of Lien from the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS. We call it a lien, and it operates legally as a lien. And when the IRS determines that you owe them money, and it's filed at the Property Records Office in the county where you live. And on that document are 3 pieces of information. The first is your name, the second is your address, and the third is the amount that you owe. Another triangle. Now, my question to you is this: how many millions of these liens have been filed? How many countless families have been torn up? People committed suicide, businesses lost, human family tragedies due to these liens. So let's analyze this very simple piece of paper just for 1 second. Because on an IRS lien, those 3 pieces of paper, your name, your address, and whatever the amount is they've determined that you owe. What if you live in an apartment or a rental house? Because liens attach to property. And if you live in a rental house or an apartment, chances are you don't own that property. So my question becomes, what property is the lien on? And it doesn't take much deductive logic to come to the conclusion that the property the lien is placed on is your body. They own you. So, if you file your declaration and a DS-11 form with the U.S. Department of State, 2 things happen simultaneously. You're pulled out from the administrative state because no more do the administrative agencies have jurisdiction over you. Their rules and regulations don't apply to you because they're only written for residents. And secondly, in the bowels of the Treasury Department, you are pulled out as collateral for the bonds that back the world reserve currency. One further thing for the lien, to prove it to you, is a commission that was commissioned by our president, Ronald Reagan, in the 80s. And Ronald Reagan was a big, big foe of big government, as many of you know and remember. And he commissioned a Grace Commission. And that's an official presidential report. You can look it up in any search engine. We prefer Start Page. And look at the Grace Commission's conclusions. And their conclusions were straightforward and simple. Not one single penny of your income tax goes to fund the day-to-day runnings of the government. It all goes to the bondholders because you're the collateral for the bonds they hold. This is absolutely bombshell information to some people, and it will shake you into a consciousness and a reality, and that we hope a fine-tuned way of thinking and living our collective lives. So it very well may be that today is Revelation 18. Babylon may very well fall in an hour today. And if you look at that long verse at the end of the list of things that merchants can't sell, the very last thing is bodies and souls of men. People, they can't sell you and own you unless you're their property. Let's put an end to this. Let's get these 300-year cycle parasites off of our backs and out of our lives and out of our country. Thank you.